Super Bowl 58 coming up in Las Vegas, Kansas City, San Francisco. I mean, Vegas Super Bowl. Like, I was here a couple of years ago, and they had the draft. They had the draft in Vegas, and even before day one was out. So why didn't they do this? They should always have the draft in Vegas. This makes so much sense. Mm-hmm. The draft, Las Vegas, Super Bowl, Las Vegas. I don't know if it will get to that level, but this is a town. You got to have a big event in a town that understands big events, but is not overwhelmed. It's not like we know big events, but we're kind of going to diminish the big event because we know big events. It's like we can handle it. We'll still pay attention to it. We can handle it.
But I think the draft is probably better for Vegas because you're only supposed to be here for like 48 hours.
Yeah.
So, you get the updates on the third round. So, you know what I mean? Like, versus all week. Like, we don't know how this is going to go, this marathon.
That is, there's a lot of us that are about to, this whole thing is a contest of people testing their both physical and mental toughness on the biggest stage football has to offer. That is also what we as the media are doing this week, testing our physical and mental toughness to weather all of the parties, all of the work in here, and still somehow give people the content they need.
Mike Golic Jr., how do you think you will deal with that test?
Not well. Not well. I have done, let's put it this way, I have done about 2 months straight of Pilates and hydration to get myself ready for this week, knowing full well I am going to turn my body into a crater, and they're going to have to scrape me off the tarmac by Saturday when I leave.
Brandon, you ready for the scene? You ready for?
Oh, listen. As long as I'm on my feet and get a chance to burn some calories, I'm in a good shape. I'm in good shape. I got a lot of reserves.
And see, we have this and before we get started, I think we just got to settle this thing. You mentioned off the air. Boy. Because
I'm walking into old stuff here.
I know, but before I walked in here today, there's a Starbucks on the way, of course, love it. I got a black coffee. And there were no questions. For me. Black coffee. Maybe had a couple of Splenda in there, but it's still black coffee. You're saying it's not.
Let me talk about the genesis of this. Right, I've been in production for a long time. This is my 8th year in the media role. Right,
all right.
I started off getting coffee. And one of the times I got coffee was for you.
Yeah.
And you wanted a black coffee.
Black coffee.
And then you said you wanted some sugar in it.
I didn't say sugar.
And then you
Splenda.
argued that you take coffee black. Now, someone who does not take coffee black, I don't like you perpetrating.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, you take it straight black. What do you think?
I do take my coffee black, and I was of the thought process that as soon as another substance enters the coffee, it does not become black. It's no longer black.
This is like some elitist. I mean, like this is some exclusion.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
You guys are not inclusive.
So,
I can't believe.
This isn't a judgment. You sound like you're ashamed of your coffee order.
Yes.
You want to masquerade as if it's a black coffee order because you think that connotes something that I'm telling you. I am no tougher because I drink weird acid black coffee. No.
Listen, it's okay.
No, embrace your order.
It's okay that you enjoy black coffee. It's a little light skin at the heart of it.
That's right. I thought that was coming in. See, and you really are in the middle of this.
That's right. That's right. Fade into the background.
And Golic Jr. is like, listen, don't get me involved in this because this might be clipped, and somebody's gonna misunderstand. I didn't bring it up, and
I will never forget one of my first appearances on air. I was sitting between Dominique Foxworth and I believe it was Ryan Clark, and this was I forget what was going on, but it was an issue where race was involved, and I was 26. I went to lean into the mic, and Dominique Foxworth lovingly looked over at me and goes, "Don't worry, Creamy, we got this." And I didn't say a word for the rest of the segment, so I know when to clear out.
Yeah, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. Just lean back. All right. Well,
sounds like I was talking Colin Kaepernick.
But I'm good. I can tell you this. I'm good with I'm good with coffee with no Splenda. I can do that too.
Oh, you can do that? Okay.
Because coffee is not a monolith, Brandon.
All different shapes
black
and
coffee
sizes.
is not a monolith.
Well.
There are many dimensions. There are many ways to go, and no way is the right way. Anyway, how about this? The right way. I was talking with Natalie before about San Francisco, and just saying that, like, I've been a Niners hater. I've become a Niners hater, just because of the excuses that they've made over the years. Like last year rubbed me the wrong way. They lose the NFC Championship game. Purdy gets hurt. They're like, hey, we're the better team. If we'd had our quarterback, we'd be there. Well, yeah, it's football. It's a physical game. Things happen. But this year, I feel like if they win, you gotta dial back all the Brock Purdy is not this, Brock Purdy can't do this, you can't win a championship with. If they win this game, I think a lot of those storylines go away. Agree?
I would agree, and
maybe all of them.
Brandon and I were talking about this today. I think this week presents a wonderful opportunity to reframe the Brock Purdy conversation specifically, no matter what, because as I'm sure you've noticed, it's been one of the most toxic conversations that we've had around the NFL this year, because the production of the team got him staring eye to eye with some guys that maybe individually he's not there with yet, but what we need to do is stop to appreciate the fact that this guy was not only the last pick in the draft that we've established, but he's coming off an injury from last year. Like, he got hurt in that game. It required surgery, so much so that Kyle Shanahan explored Tom Brady as an option and told Brock Purdy, hey, while you're hurt, Tom Brady, if he's going to come here, going to be our starter for the year, and we do that. That was largely driven, in Kyle Shanahan's words, by the fact that he was injured. So he's coming off that and delivered. Like, all his teammates had said, we'd have won if we had Brock Purdy, now get to point up and say, see, the last two games when we needed comebacks and things to happen, he was there.
He delivered.
I hear you, but no one wants to talk about the San Francisco 49ers, because even if they win that game, the headlights are going to be, this is the week's Mahomes team that he's had on offense, or this is just a chink in the dynasty armor that is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Like, I can't see us really giving the 49ers the credit that they deserve, even if they come out with a win in this game.
But who says that, though? When you lose a Super Bowl, no one says, okay, well, they lost this one, but they'll be back. When you lose a Super Bowl, you give credit to the team that wins. Nobody ever says it of the losing team. Like when the Patriots lost those 2 to the Giants, it's not like, oh, the Patriots will be back. It's, hey, look at the Giants. Look at Eli. Look at Tom Coughlin.
But when Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs lost to Tampa Bay Tom Brady, everyone had the consensus that this was not Patrick Mahomes' last time at this dance.
Well, and I think in that case it was, I think the story there was, one, losing to Brady.
Sure.
Is at home too.
Right.
You know, Brady winning at home is number one story. Number two story, all the offensive linemen got hurt in that game.
And you know what? As a former offensive lineman, shame on all of us. It's the only time we talk about it is when things go so horrifically wrong that Pat Mahomes is making headlines, because in that game, the other part with him is, and really most of these conversations, is he is a gross outlier. Like, it's so wild that Tom Brady hung up the cleats and we've immediately already had a new guy ascend to the consensus #1 spot. And I know some people wanted to beef about that before the year, and Joe Burrow getting hurt certainly goes a long way because a lot of people thought he was close. It's Patrick Mahomes in his own tier, and then it's everybody else.
Yeah,
and to have that certainty screws up a lot of these other conversations, because what's happened with him and the Chiefs is not normal, just the same way the Patriots stuff wasn't normal.
All right, let me ask you guys this. Help me out here. I got a media question. I've actually thought about this for a long time. Like, how should we be approaching this? Is it the headline? Should it be a top headline, because it has become one?
Yeah.
And you mentioned Patrick Mahomes. So Patrick Mahomes Sr., we've all been there. We've all been there, where, you know, a family member kind of acts a little crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. And it comes back on you. Like, at media night, how's he supposed to deal with this question? Hey, you want to talk about your dad's DWI? Nah. I mean, like, he shouldn't have done it. He's had several. Because it's Patrick Mahomes Sr. and Patrick Mahomes is in the Super Bowl, I guess it's a front page story, but I'm serious. I have been in the media for a long time, and if I were assigned this story, which I would be as a beginning reporter, this is where you get the beginning reporter. Hey, do something. What the hell you do with this? Is it a huge story? Is it like something like, are you not doing your job if you don't drill down on this story? I'm serious.
Well, I don't know in this case what you get on drilling down from it necessarily. He's going to get asked about it, and I'm sure Pat knows that. He's been doing this long enough to understand. It's a question that comes. He's going to have his canned answer because Pat's incredibly well media polished there. But then besides that, there's not really another leg to it from there. You mentioned, unfortunately, this is a thing that's popped up in the past there. And with Pat's dad, part of it is he's become a character. We've seen him after games and some of the interactions on Mike. And so it pops up there. What I thought about it more, and Brandon can certainly speak to this too, is I did think about it from Pat's perspective as a player preparing for this game. Because we hear all the time from athletes getting ready for this game in particular about all the outside noise of, hey, you've got family ticket requests, people coming out of nowhere, stuff that you usually get ready last last week while you're getting prepared, so that out here it's all about business. This is now an added stressor. Like, I think about when, I've had family members who have had arguments and it stresses you out, and you're thinking about that while you're trying to go on prepare for this. Pat is trying to figure out what's going to happen and worrying, I'm sure, like a good son about his dad, while he's also trying to get prepared for this game in a very human way.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think if anyone is prepared to handle this, it will be Patrick Mahomes, who's dealing with a very public, scrutinized family, and his wife Brittany, and his brother, and TikTok, and even in the Kansas City Chiefs. If you guys remember last year, that horrific stuff with Andy Reid and his son hitting the news at that point in time. For some reason, this Chiefs team seems to compartmentalize better than a lot of teams that we've seen in this spot before.
I think when it's your first Super Bowl, like teams who haven't been to the Super Bowl before, all of it is just it's tough to manage. Halftime is longer. They figure that out during the game. The request, they think they have an answer for the request. They don't. Just the schedule. Everything is new for them. But that's only for the first time. So here they are, fourth time in the Super Bowl. I understand that it's your dad. You're going to be asked about it. Unfortunately, maybe I'm going to tell you guys too much about myself. I'll just say this. With certain family members who are problematic, okay, I ain't gonna say any names, okay? But if certain family members who are problematic, if they have been problematic before, mentally you say, okay, I can't deal with that right now.
Sure.
So I'd be shocked if it's a distraction. Doesn't mean he doesn't love his father, but okay, this is not new. Unfortunately, it's not new.
Yeah.
It's not going to, and I hope this doesn't become a storyline. Oh, God, please don't let this become a storyline if he throws 2 interceptions. Oh, here we go. Patrick Mahomes didn't look like himself because he's thinking about, no.
Oh, trust me, the media will blame Taylor Swift far before they get to anything like
I was going to say, this is unfortunately under the umbrella of the Taylor Swift side.
So you got to pick your, bingo,
you're not
pick your distraction.
Yeah, I mean,
you have to pick it. You can't be both.
Well, and I mean, we know a large contingent of the NFL fan base would love to blame a woman who has no impact on the actual outcome of the game for the outcome of the game. So that's unfortunately a place where a certain section of the NFL's fan base is always willing to go.
So you don't think there's that at halftime she's going to come out with Travis Kelce and make some announcement they're going to start a new political party?
They've introduced their own vaccine that they're hard launching as they endorse the presidential candidate on the field after the game, mid-proposal. Yes, all of your wildest conspiracy theories, America, will come true.
No, it's funny. Grammys last night, she has an announcement, and some of them are saying, there it is! Here it comes! Here it is! She's got an announcement. A new album. It's a new album.
Right.
Oh, what is that? But what's the album called?
The Tortured Poets Club. I'm glad you asked.
Poets.
No, listen. It's when Kelce puts on the Biden jersey and scores for, like, that's what it's going to be. He's going to rock. He's going to be like 87 with the Biden jersey.
It really has been amazing that and it's the evolution of the story, because it's been the story for so much of the year. Taylor and her coverage and how little it actually is happening, and her place in this NFL world with Travis as well has gotten to the point where we turned over all the original stuff where people are like, oh, is this even real? Is it going to go the distance? Where now it's a government psyop. Right. Like, that is a new level of mental gymnastics that we've had to do just to find a way for some people to talk about this story.
Travis Kelce is going to one-up you, George Kittle. Remember when George Kittle scored and he played the Cowboys? He had on the T-shirt, F Dallas. But now there's going to be some announcement.
Oh, yeah.
But if Travis Kelce, don't let him get in the end zone. Don't let him get in the end zone because there's some message.
Which, by the way, a good thing for the 49ers to consider anyway, because for some reason in the last couple of rounds, no one's been able to keep him out of the end zone despite a year where he looked more human than ever. So good advice for everybody.
All right. So before I let you guys go, so who we got? Or is it too early? You're still still looking at third downs, special teams, doing your studies.
I picked the Chiefs as soon as conference championship weekend was over because I picked against them the last 2 rounds and looked like a fool. And so I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to let me overthink this to go away from, Patrick Mahomes is getting points in the Super Bowl. Chiefs.
Yeah, I can't. I wouldn't be happy. This chapter has to close with the Chiefs Super Bowl, in my opinion. With the problems with drops at wide receiver all year long, Travis Kelce kind of limping all season until the postseason. Like, this has to end with an exclamation point, which is another Chiefs Super Bowl.
That's funny because you guys picked the Chiefs. I think Kadarius Toney is picking the San Francisco.
He's on live again? Oh, my God. Please, more content heaven.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.